Hey Sassy Nari, welcome to Little Fixes. This is your host Matri, a social media professional, a mother, and a simple yet sassy woman just like you. Join me for sweet, simple, and practical ideas that help you in transforming into your best self. This mental health and personal growth podcast is a reminder that you matter. Hello Sassy Nari, thank you for joining me today. तो आज बात होगी ह्यूमन डिज़ाइन की। ह्यूमन डिज़ाइन के बारे में मुझे लास्ट ईयर ही पता चला था और तब से आई हैव बीन फैसिनेटेड बाय इट। ह्यूमन डिज़ाइन इज क्लेम टू बी अ टूल फॉर सेल्फ इम्प्रूवमेंट, ग्रोथ एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग अदर्स। आपने भी शायद जनरेटर, मैनिफेस्टिंग जनरेटर, मैनिफेस्टर, प्रोजेक्टर जैसे टर्म्स सुन रखे होंगे, क्योंकि आजकल हर कोई ह्यूमन डिज़ाइन के बारे में डिस्कस कर रहा है एंड फॉर गुड रीज़न। ह्यूमन डिज़ाइन इज नॉट एस्ट्रोलॉजी, रादर इसमें आपको अपनी यूनिक स्ट्रेंथ्स, अपनी गिफ्ट्स पता चलते हैं और इस नॉलेज की हेल्प से आप अपने लिए बेस्ट डिसीजंस ले सकते हैं, राइट अपॉर्चुनिटीज को अट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं और अपनी लाइफ को ट्रांसफॉर्म कर सकते हैं। देयर इज अ लॉट मोर टू इट एंड वी हैव एन एक्सपर्ट ऑन बोर्ड टू गाइड अस। मेरे साथ हैं इंडियाज फर्स्ट ह्यूमन डिजाइन एंड जीन कीज मेंटर सांची नास्ता। बिफोर डाइविंग इनटू द एपिसोड, प्लीज फॉलो लिटिल फिक्सेस ऑन योर पॉडकास्ट ऐप एंड शेयर इट विद अ फ्रेंड हु माइट बेनिफिट फ्रॉम इट। नाउ टू आवर गेस्ट। Hi Sanchi, welcome to Little Fixes.
Hi Maitri, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
All my pleasure, and I'm really excited about diving deep into human design with you today. So tell us, Sanchi, what is human design and why should we care about it?
Right, so the way you explained it was great. So it's a tool for understanding yourself better. I like to look at human design as basically your own blueprint. Right, what do I mean by blueprint? It gives you a deep insight into who you are, not who you were told to be, not what your parents told you, not what society told you, not what school told you, but who you came here to be. And once you get that insight, it's like meeting yourself for the first time again. So once you get that insight, you kind of dive deeper into what your unique strengths are. You dive deep into what you are here to do and how you are here to show up. The way we all have been designed has been extremely different. But what happens is that we don't tap into the difference because since childhood we are told to be the same. We have been told कि स्कूल में बोला है कि सबके पास 2 चोटियां बांध के जाने चाहिए, सॉक्स ये लेंथ की होने चाहिए. But we are not here to do that. We have been here to be designed differently. And the thing is, we all kind of know how we have been meant to be designed. We have an idea about that. But we are ashamed to tap into that because we don't know if it's okay to be that way. Mm-hmm. So like whoever comes to me, like 99% of my clients, I have done like over 200, 250 readings till date. About 99% of my clients, at the end of the reading, they have told me, this is me. Like, how did you know this with a birth date and a birth time? This is exactly me. And that's what I felt for the first time when I discovered human design too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you have told what attracted you to human design, that was also my next question, ki what drew you to human design and how it changed your life?
Right. So when I came across human design, it was like peak pandemic. It was 2020. And I was that time a stay-at-home mom. I was honestly not earning anything. I used to be a blogger but bloggers don't get paid until you have great numbers. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I always tried to do, like, I was invited to the top events in the city. I used to handle social media for the top brands in the country. I've handled for Grazia India. I have handled for Jabong. I've handled like the top brands in the top places in the city. But when it came to leveraging my own personal brand, I was trying the strategies every blogger uses. And somewhere I felt like this is not working out for me. This is not who I am. So I started, I shut. And the pandemic happened. And then, everything came to a standstill. I was a new mom. My daughter was 1 year old. I was struggling with identity. I was struggling with breastfeeding. I was struggling financially because I had no savings to depend upon. My husband's business came to a standstill. Everything just felt like hit me. And one day, I remember my daughter was napping in the afternoon, and I was scrolling on my phone when she napped because it's the only time I got. And I came across this thing called human design. And I've always been extremely curious by nature. So I kind of went into like what is human design and what is my design and all. For the first time in like 31, 32 years, however old I was at the time, I felt somebody has spoken what my heart believes. So I am a projector, right? And as a projector, for the first time, I felt that somebody saw me as a projector. I have quit jobs because they wanted me to work on weekends. And I said, I will not work on a weekend no matter what. Like, you pay me a lakh a month, I'm not going to work on weekends. And everyone around me, my mom, my parents thought, like, are you crazy? It's just one weekend a month. Like, why don't you work? I'm like, I will not do it. That just goes against me. As a projector, I have always been told, why are you so lazy? Do you have a vitamin deficiency? How can you be tired just as soon as you've woken up? And I always bought into that line of thought, and I felt like something was wrong with me. So when I read that projectors don't have energy, projectors have great wisdom, but they don't have the bandwidth to channel that wisdom, I felt like somebody's talking about me. The second thing I found out is that I was a line six. Okay. Now, before I found this out, in my 20s to my 30s, in the 10 years, I have changed 8 jobs and shut 5 businesses in the 10-year span. And I always felt so much shame whenever somebody asked me, what do you do? Because if you meet me 6 months later and you ask me what are you doing, I would tell you something completely different. That's how fast my transition in job was. So I felt so much shame when someone asked me, what do you do? And when I found out that's a line six trait, till the age of 30, they will experiment a lot. I again felt validated. I felt like, oh my God, there are other people like me, because all people around me, like, they had found their calling at 23, 24 and stuck by it. Good, bad, ugly. I was the only one jumping from one thing to another. And that gave me so much, that gave me like a sense of freedom. And I was like, if I have felt this way, being in a very progressive society, I want to share this information with everyone in the world. So that even if there's another Sachi who at the age of 23 is struggling to find herself, she doesn't need to worry about it. She can be herself, experiment, take chances on herself. So that's kind of what my journey with human design was. And then I was just doing it, like, I was just interested in my own chart, very honestly. And I reached out to a friend. I was like, hey, do you know any human design reader in India? I would really like to get my chart read, because at that time, US and all, they were very, very expensive. It was like $44 for a reading or something. And she's like, no, I don't think there's any human design reader in India. Why don't you study human design? And as a projector, that was an invitation that I so badly resonated with. And that's what led me into this journey.
Wow. Okay. Sachi, you have thrown a few terms here when you were telling us about your journey. So let's discuss them a little. I saw my own human design chart, and there are tons of categories. We can't
Right.
discuss all of them here. I see energy types discussed a lot more. Please tell us a little about different energy types and what do their personalities look like.
Okay, that will take a long time, but I'm going to just give you a glimpse into
Yeah.
it. Okay, so there are 5 energy types in total. The most common type, which 70% of the world is made out of, is generators and manifesting generators. Now,
Okay.
generators
I'm a
and
manifesting generator.
yeah, so that's why the other types feel so restless when they are in contact with these people, because these people have that energy called the sacral energy.
Mhm.
And what is the sacral energy? Basically, they don't get tired if they're passionate about what they do. They
Mhm.
need rest at night, but if they're passionate, they can rest, wake up, and still be excited about it. So
Mhm.
most of the population, like 70% of the population, is made up with these two types: generators and manifesting generators. The other type is projectors, which I said is like me. They're great guides, great wisdom keepers, great at helping you see the bigger picture. Then there's a lesser type known as manifestor. A manifestor is basically somebody who's here to lead the world, who is here to take charge and show new things to the world. And the last type is a reflector. The reflector is known as an old soul who's very much in sync with the cycles of the earth, with the moon cycles. They are very much in sync with that, and they carry a lot of old ancient knowledge in their bones. So just to give you an idea, these are like the 5 energy types that there are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so manifester and manifesting generators, how are they different?
Manifestors do not have their sacral defined. So manifestors again feel very tired. They can often feel a lot of people put pressure on them. As child, manifestors can be people who have been told to shut up, because they can be really loud, because their energy is very big. They have a very big energy. But as when they're growing up, obviously because this knowledge was not available to parents at the time,
Mm-hmm.
manifestors have been told to tone it down, which may have resulted in them becoming adults who are very scared of expressing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about me, manifesting generators?
So manifesting generators are someone who is very multi-passionate. They have many interests. They have great energy. They are here to do things that light them up. And if they don't feel lit up about something, they will not be able to put the energy and the focus there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that is totally me. I have tried a lot of things and I get excited by different things at different phases of my life. So, जैसे आपने बताया कि you are a projector, you also tried a lot of things. So, what is
Right.
the difference there then?
Okay, so this is where it's important to dive deeper into your chart. So while I'm a
Mm.
projector, I'm also a line 6 in my profile. Right now, again, it's too many terms here which I won't be able to break down. But
Mm-hmm.
basically, my personality is such that I will experiment a lot until the age of 30. And then my experimentation will slow down. And why do I experiment so much? So I experiment so much so I can tap into all the learnings this experimentation has taught me and guide others with using my wisdom from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we find out our human design? Then I also want to understand ki can we change it and how it is different from astrology?
Right. So you find human design, it's very simple. You can just Google free human design chart. You can draw your chart. Now, a lot of people have done their own human design readings and they have resonated, but when they still signed up with me, they have found out information which is uh, life altering. And I say this because human design language, as you may have seen yourself, is very complex, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you get a reading with a certified reader, we help you break down that information in a way that it will be resonating with you. So I will actually tell you how it has played out in my clients' lives. I'll ask you questions of how it might be showing up in your life. So it's very important to even get information from a certified reader, because that really helps you make sense of the information more and how to tap into it more. Yeah, sorry, I forgot the second question you asked me.
Yeah, so I want to understand how it is different from astrology because वहाँ पे भी हमारी date of birth और birth time use होता है. And is it possible to change it?
Right. No, it's not possible to change it. It's who
Hmm.
you are, right? Your time of birth cannot change, your date of birth cannot change, so your human design cannot change. I am not an astrologer, okay,
Hmm.
but from what so human design does not only use astrology. Human design uses 5 systems, and astrology is just one of them, right?
Okay.
So astrology gives you a great idea of what traits you might have, what past life baggage you might be carrying, what future checkpoints you might have. Human design tells you who you are in the here and now. It tells you how do you manifest opportunities right now. How should you make decisions right now? So it's not a far past, future, or even guidance based. It you resonate with the information at least a 90%.
Mm-hmm. So मान लीजिए हमने अपनी ह्यूमन डिजाइन पता कर लिया हमने अपना चार्ट देख लिया now how do we align ourselves with our design how do we use the readings the insights in our personal and professional lives.
Right. So it is said, and this is by the founder of human design, Ra Uruhu, that deconditioning, which is a big part of human design, if you do everything correct, will take you 7 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a reading, again, I don't know about other readers, but when you get a reading from me, I give you handful tips on how to use it into your life in day-to-day activities. So I give you like a full 30-page blueprint of how you can use human design in your life today, how you can tap into the energy today. And this gives you great guidance. So human design, it's not about what you should be doing, it's how you should be living. And so it's not going to be like, okay, basic stuff like light a sage, cleanse your crystal. It's not going to be that simple. It's going to be like, you know, experience this and see how it feels to you. Play
Mm-hmm.
around with this and see how that feels to you. So it's going to be a very experimentation based system.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, does it affect our relationships too, or can we use it to improve our relationships? Like, I am a manifesting generator, my husband is a projector. I am sure there are a lot of deeper things also, बट
Right.
इनको हम अपनी रिलेशनशिप में कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं? बिकॉज जब मैंने रीडिंग्स पढ़ी, मतलब जो बेसिक्स पढ़े अपने टाइप्स के बारे में, तो मुझे ये भी लगा कि हाँ, हर पर्सन डिफरेंट है, और थोड़ी सी एक एक्सेप्टेंस आती है आपके अंदर कि अच्छा, ये पर्सन ऐसा क्यों है, या मैं ऐसी क्यों हूँ। जैसे मुझसे लोग बोलते रहते हैं, तुम कभी भी एक चीज से खुशी नहीं होती हो, एक चीज करी, अब तुम्हें ये करना है, अब तुम्हें वो करना है। एंड जस्ट लाइक दैट माई हस्बैंड, मैं उनसे कहती रहती हूँ कि आप मतलब थोड़े स्लो हो। जैसे आई एम वेरी फास्ट एंड ही इज लाइक प्रोसेस बनाना है, फिर चीजों को समझना है, फिर करना है। तो कई बार उसकी वजह से डिफरेंसेस आ जाते हैं। तो हाउ डू वी इंक्लूड इट इन आवर personal lives also?
Right. So yes, definitely it impacts relationships. It impacts parent-child relationships as well. So my husband and I are both projectors, okay? But we still have the slow and fast thing between us. So he is really fast. I am very, very slow. Again, here now we dive deeper into the chart. So I'm not
Hmm.
going to go there because it'll confuse the audience a lot. But again, this is in the nuances of the chart, right?
Hmm.
Though on paper we both seem perfect, like we are both projectors, we both seem same, but there are still so many differences between us, which even
Hmm.
in projectors can be. um, I always advise my clients on what to do in relationships. For example, as a projector, I have this deep need to be seen, so I need to be seen for the small things I do as well. And I know he has the same needs as well because he is a projector too. And once I realized about human design, I literally had a conversation with him. I told him, listen, as a projector, I need to be seen. So I'm not expecting you to see me for every glass of water I bring to you, but I'm expecting to see me for the work that I put into this house. And I feel that communication is very important within your relationship. My daughter is a generator, right? Which means she has energy, and my husband and I are both like, oh my God, come on, we're tired, right? And I teach her how to channel that excess energy. I
Mhm.
teach her how to channel it in a way that growing up, she does not grow up to be a frustrated individual. So
Mhm.
it definitely helps in the nuances of a relationship. Knowing she's a generator and I'm a projector, I am mindful of the fact that I might not be able to keep up with her. So I tell, I will tell her, okay, now it's my quiet time. I'll turn on the TV if I have to, or she'll play with my help if she has to. Then I check in back with her again to play with her. So it's very important to know the differences and the similarities. So you can, else I would just be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Why are you not understanding? Why are you not understanding? Why are you not understanding? Because I know she has that energy and I do not, I have found ways to, so that she does not have to suffer or I don't have to suffer. And we find a way to balance this out.
Mhm. Okay. So now I am very interested कि ये जो चीजें हैं, ह्यूमन डिजाइन है, आई थिंक ये ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस को भी यूज करनी चाहिए, कॉर्पोरेट्स में अपने एम्प्लॉयज को, मे बी
Yeah,
एम्प्लॉयज में भी अच्छी
absolutely.
अंडरस्टैंडिंग आएगी.
Absolutely. So I have a client of mine who actually, after reading his chart, I told him how to check for the right employees for his company. So
हम्म.
he actually like now follows the tips I gave him to hire for his company.
ओके.
Yeah. Yeah.
इंटरेस्टिंग. वाओ. मुझे ये समझ में आया कि ह्यूमन डिजाइन से हम अपने आप को अप्रिशिएट कर पाते हैं, अपनी यूनिकनेस को, और दूसरों को आई थिंक ज्यादा एक्सेप्ट कर पाते हैं. तो अब इससे मुझे एक आइडिया आया है अपने सैस इट अप सेक्शन के लिए, जिसके लिए आई नीड योर सैसी स्टेटमेंट कि अगर मान लीजिए वी एक्सेप्ट एवरीथिंग अबाउट आवरसेल्व्स, कि अरे मैं तो ऐसी ही हूँ, ये चीज तो मैं ऐसे ही करती हूँ, या मैं मेरा टेम्पर तो ऐसे ही है, तो won't we start giving excuses कि अरे ऐसी ही तो हूँ मैं, and we wouldn't try to improve, and we also won't care about others' opinions, others' feelings, and won't we become too self-centered?
So what's the harm in that? I mean, it's not that we're still not giving excuses. It's not that we're still not getting defensive.
Hmm.
It's not that we're still not being bothered by others' opinions. When we are already doing all of that, why don't we rather give ourselves the self love or the self grace or the self belief and do it for ourselves?
Mhm.
Um, yes, I do use it as an excuse, but I also know I'm not using it as an excuse just for an excuse. Like, for example, I came back from Bangalore and that whole week I have just laid on my couch and done no work. And earlier I would be like, oh, is this an excuse? But my body, I know physically could not move. So it's not an excuse. Look, you can take it in any way possible. You can look at it as an excuse, you can look at it as not an excuse. But I believe when you truly get to know yourself, you start knowing yourself. You start knowing who do you have to take suggestions from and who do you not, right? So yes, I have that problem of being defensive. I do tend to be defensive. In fact, my husband and I recently had a fight about why am I being so defensive. We as humans live a life filled with layers, right?
Mhm.
Human design is one layer, my trauma is one layer, my exhaustion is one layer, my reality is one layer. We can't make one layer um, universal for all our layers. So I can't just be, oh, human design says this, so I am this. You
Hmm.
have to use your intuition, and that's why human design also helps you connect with your intuition. You have to use your intuition. I do gene keys work, which helps you understand your shadows or your patterns or the blocks that come up. So my defensiveness is actually into my gene keys, which shows me the trauma that comes up for me. So it's a very layered approach. um, you know, Life is itself a very layered approach. Just boxing it as human design or gene keys or trauma work or nervous system work is not fair.
Mhm. Okay, okay, that's a वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग वे टू लुक एट इट, बिकॉज जब भी मैं ये इसके बारे में सोचती हूँ तो मुझे लगने लगता है कि हाँ, लोग एक्सक्यूज दे सकते हैं कि मुझे गुस्सा आ गया बिकॉज मेरी पर्सनैलिटी ऐसी है, बट यू आर सेइंग कि लुक एट अदर थिंग्स ऑल्सो, लुक एट योर डिफरेंट लेयर्स एंड मे बी ऑल्सो लुक एट वॉट इज गोइंग ऑन अराउंड यू, बिकॉज ये जरूरी नहीं है कि हर चीज
Exactly.
आपकी ह्यूमन डिजाइन से ही निकल के आ रही हो.
Exactly. So I have had no help for the past 10 days. I'm very tired. I'm working, I'm taking care of a house, a toddler, a dog. I'm very, very tired. So obviously, when at that time, my husband is going to tell me something, I am going to get defensive because I'm doing 100 things and I have missed two things. And I'm also irritated of not living in a cleaner house. I'm also irritated of having to figure out breakfast, lunch, dinner every single day. So it is not about human design or gene keys or anything else. It's just about being a human. And as a human, feeling those different emotions and feeling that I just need a freaking break.
Mhm.
And I think that's the most human thing you can do.
Mhm. Yes, yes. So, Sachi, do you also have any books or resources recommendations that my listeners can use?
Um, yeah, I do have books, but as I said, the human design language is very, very complex.
Hmm.
I do a lot of free content on my Instagram, so you can follow me at Soul with Sachi. It's a lot of free content where you can kind of look into like human design, Akashic records, gene keys. Also, you can Google human design sources, and that will kind of help you gain clarity about it. I honestly haven't found a human design book that I would like to recommend. I personally have worked with information on Google because
Hmm.
I feel human design, as I said, as a language, it's so complicated and
Yeah.
complex. I feel on Google, like if you just go through like blog posts of whichever topics you're interested in, it will really break down the information in a very simple way. I personally haven't found the right human design book to refer to, so I would not like to do so. So I made Google my best friend before I signed up with a coach.
Uh-huh. Okay. Then, Sachi, you need to write a book about human design, which is not as complex and we can understand all about it.
So I've always wanted to write a book, but about human design, I don't think so. I don't think I
Huh.
want to write a book on human design. I think I have other topics I would like to write on. So yeah, maybe someday soon.
Okay, we'll be waiting for that. And Sachi, thank you so much for being on Little Fixes and for sharing your valuable insights with us. You did mention your Instagram handle, but still we would like to know a little more about the work you do and how can people connect with you.
So thank you for having me, Metri. It was really lovely doing this podcast. I call myself as a spiritual mentor and guide, and I help you to honestly discover yourself and expand your reality with the work I do. So I do multiple things, mainly in the field of human design, gene keys, and Akashic records. And I actually help you to form that connection between you and your soul and your higher self. So you are living that good life right now and not waiting for it to happen for you one day. You can connect with me on Instagram. I'm very, very active. I'm always responsive on DM. So if you need to like DM, if you want me to have a look at your chart, if you need me to do something, I'm very happy to do so. My Instagram handle is Soul with Sachi, Sanchi. That's my spelling. And yeah, it's been a fun ride.
Okay, thanks. That's great, Sachi. Thank you for being on Little Fixes.
It's my pleasure, Matthew. Thank you so much.
अगर आपको ये एपिसोड वैल्यूबल लगा तो प्लीज हेल्प लिटिल फिक्सेस रीच मोर पीपल बाय शेयरिंग इट विद समवन यू केयर अबाउट. यू कैन ऑल्सो गिव अस अ शाउट आउट ऑन इंस्टाग्राम. मेरा हैंडल है @littlepixespodcast. दिस हेल्प्स मी इन ग्रोइंग द पॉडकास्ट और बहुत सारे और लोगों की हेल्प भी होती है इसको सुन के. आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर योर टाइम. अब मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वेडनेसडे को. तब तक के लिए खुद से प्यार करते रहो और सदा सैसी रहो. बाय.